Selections from Parerga and Paralipomena, Volume 1, by Arthur Schopenhauer. Read by Leighton, Pugh and David Rintoul for Ukemi Audiobooks. Sketch of a History of the Doctrine of the Ideal and Real. Descartes is rightly deemed the father of modern philosophy, and this in a special as well as a general sense, inasmuch as he placed the reason on its own feet by teaching men to use their own brains, in the place of which the Bible had previously served on the one hand and Aristotle on the other. But in a more special and a narrower sense he was this also, since he was the first to bring the problem upon which philosophy has mainly turned to consciousness, the problem of the ideal and real, i.e., the question as to what in our knowledge is objective and what is subjective. In other words, what might be ascribed by us to other things and what we must ascribe to ourselves. Images do not arise in our brain as it were arbitrarily from within, nor do they proceed from the connection of our own thoughts. Hence they must spring from an external cause. But these images are immediately known to us. They are given. Now, what relation do they have to things existing completely separate from and independent of us, and which are in some way the cause of these images? Have we any certainty at all that such things exist, or even if this be so, that the images afford us any clue to their nature? This is the problem, and in consequence the main endeavour of philosophers has been for the past 200 years to separate by a correctly drawn line of cleavage the ideal, i.e. that which belongs solely to our knowledge as such, from the real, i.e. that which exists independently of it, and thus to determine the relation of each to the other. Certainly neither the philosophers of antiquity nor yet the schoolmen seem to have arrived at a clear consciousness of this fundamental problem of philosophy, although we find a trace of it as idealism and even as the doctrine of the ideality of time in Plotinus, in the third Ennead, Treatise 7, where he teaches that the soul has made the world by its transition from eternity into time. He there says, for instance, there is no other place in the universe than the mind. Here it will be seen we have a distinct statement even of Kant's ideality of time, and in the following chapter, time, however, is not to be conceived as outside of soul. Eternity is not outside of the authentic existent. Nevertheless, this problem, clearly recognized, became the specially characteristic subject of modern philosophy.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?